This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Overview of authenticity, inauthenticity, existence and essence. Many philosophers, especially existentialists, have used the term authenticity and inauthenticity in their writings to depict how people live on Earth. Several philosophers, including Heidegger, Sartre, and Nietzsche, made clear distinctions between these two terms while deliberating on theories of existence. Authenticity is used to illustrate the freedom a person emanates in daily undertakings. Actions that uphold an authentic view are about a person's liberty without considering the essence or any external forces. Being authentic requires a person to exude high levels of autonomy in making choices so that they remain responsible for their actions. Being inauthentic, on the other hand, is against one's freedom to act and involves resorting to external forces to take action. This view of existence upholds determinism, whereby everything should be done according to preset standards. It is about the mindset reflected in one's sovereignty and liability and the scope of deeds within this independence. The phrase existence precedes essence means that man was thrown into the world and condemned to determine what he wants to be. On the other hand, essence precedes existence, which means that every man comes to the world with a predetermined essence of how to live. Heidegger and Sartre postulate that the existence of an individual physical organization heralds the essence of one's nature. Sartre argues that individual beings exist, it is just past existence that elements of the essence, called human, extend. A being starts forming its core after realizing that it exists, which usually takes time. During these moments, an individual eventually begins conceding and accepting essence. The differences between authenticity and inauthenticity. Heidegger describes authenticity as the option of self and accomplishment as well as espousing individuality. On the other hand, he explains inauthenticity as the functioning to fit the description postulated by others. Being inauthentic usually comes as a result of the daily undertakings like the business. Others include exhilaration as well as obsession among others. These activities are full of external factors, and there is a defined way of performing a duty which must be adhered to. Sartre discussed inauthenticity among the Jewish, how they were unwholesome and unbalanced, contrary to what they ought to have been. He writes that being inauthentic is characterized by cruelty, refutation, and response configuration as ways of managing ambivalence and divergence. Inauthenticity includes personal behavior and identification. A male who presents naturally as a female and denies it is said to be inauthentic. Another difference that Heidegger cites is that authenticity is essential and contained by the societal framework, while inauthenticity is not necessary. Dedication to authenticity is aimed at driving one into an excellent relationship with his or her fellows, thus actualizing legitimacy in the society. Heidegger concludes that authenticity is temporary as opposed to inauthenticity because we are born with the former and achieve the latter after some time. Nietzsche on his view argues that authenticity is the elementary mode of existing in the globe. People normally stay at the spheres of authenticity and come upon inauthentic expression at some stage in ontic level. It is crucial to note that the philosopher Nietzsche is a crusader of authenticity, consequently, he supports inauthenticity. Nietzsche argues that inauthenticity is intermittently useful in daily undertakings because it is unavoidable. He says that it is not easy to realize deception because it comes into play in the process of knowing oneself. It is, therefore, clear from Nietzsche's point of view that inauthenticity is part of all human beings, and it is unavoidable. On the other hand, he argues that authenticity is inborn, and people live with it until death. Nietzsche states that a person can achieve the status of an overman through authenticity. Furthermore, some people in society have attained the rank of overman. Nietzsche outlines that all principles of man are incapable, hence, it is imperative to lodge the need for the uppermost anticipation. For a person to reach that level, he must change and avoid religion as well as moving ahead always. Authenticity is thus considered crucial by Nietzsche for one to be happy and independent on earth. If you want to find more works like this essay on inauthenticity and authenticity differences, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.